is our buddy Gabe. He makes the hottest roti in town. He likes his race cars hot too.
That's right.
He's got a peripheral port in an FD RX7. If you're a fan of Time Attack here in Ontario, you might actually recognize this car. It used to be like a JRP HSD sponsored turbocharged FD. And Gabe acquired it, what, a few years ago now?
A few years ago, yeah.
How long has it been?
About 3 years now.
3 years, okay.
Yeah.
And this is close to the first time it's driven.
That's right. A lot of ups and downs.
There's been some teething pains. He converted it, when he bought the car there was no motor in it.
That's right.
And he decided to put a naturally aspirated,
Peripheral
ported 13B, what,
That's
RE
right.
or REW?
REW.
REW, okay. And it revs to 1,000,000 RPM?
10,500 RPM, 275 horsepower.
So it made 275 at the wheel.
Yeah.
And it was tuned by
Marco.
What's the name of Marco's shop again?
I believe it's A-Spec tuning.
Okay, wow, I can never remember. Sorry, Marco. Anyway, and the engine was built by our buddy Joe.
That's right.
Who used to run an RPM business called RPM Motorsport.
That's right.
Now he works for Mantel Autosport, but he still builds rotary stuff. If you've seen our How to Build a Rotary engine, that was Joe. So why don't we have a peek under the hood and talk more about this whole peripheral port madness. Before we talk about the guts of the motor, Gabe, why did you decide to go non-turbo in what is normally a turbo car?
Well, I had a previous RX7 which was turbocharged. I had the opportunity to do that. And when I acquired this car from Jim, I always had a dream as a kid of having peripheral port because they sound really cool.
They do,
and
yeah.
Just decided to try something different.
So internally, you've done some magic in there?
That's right. There's an RX8 eccentric shaft with S5 NE rotors, carbon apex seals.
And you were saying too that the peripheral port, some magic was done there to the intake port shapes by Marco?
That's right. Last year, like traditionally, the intake that is done into the housing is
it's normally just round.
It's normally round.
Yeah.
And last year the car made 255 horsepower, and this year with the modification that he did with the shape of the intake port, the car added an extra 20.
Wow, so 275 at the wheel now.
Yes.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
And it looks like the exhaust manifold is extremely long too.
Now that is something that it's a game that you have to play with if you want to get up to 300.
Yes.
So it's like tuning with the intake and the exhaust, but I don't have the time or want to do that.
Right.
Because it's an expense to do that.
To keep building
to change in the different lengths of the headers for the intake runners. So it's all about matching it to get up there.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm happy with 275.
No, that's a great number to have. And obviously it's got an ITB style setup. So it's, how big are the throttles?
55.
55 mil, okay.
And those came out from EFI Hardware in Australia.
Okay. Obviously not a street car anymore. It's got a full roll cage in it, and it's a gutted interior. It's all business. It came to you like this?
That's right.
So you bought it as a track car?
Bought it as a track car, but I added on the brains behind the car because before it had a Power FC. Okay. So from when I got the car, that was taken out and a Haltech Sprint RE was added. Yeah. Together with CAN hub and dual wideband from Haltech as well, which helps me monitor each exhaust port from the engine, which also helps because these things are finicky.
They are very finicky, yeah, and they make a lot of heat. So having a good gauge for that is key to keeping them alive, isn't it?
That's right.
And you've also got a race pack dash by the look of it, and do you have a smart wire in here as well?
Smart wire will come this year.
Okay.
So winter mods.
Okay. The exterior is pretty clean and simple. It's got a nice little splitter on there. It's custom made, I assume.
That's right, yeah.
APR wing out back.
That's right.
Wheels and tires and brakes, what have you got going on there?
We got some Toyo tires, and we have StopTech brakes.
On like a CCW classic wheel.
That's right.
HST coilovers, inherited from our friend Jimmy.
Yeah.
I think he actually inherited those tires from us, Pete. We broke them in for him on the mullet. Speaking of which, I think it's time to treat this thing like the mullet and go give it a good thrashing out on the racetrack. Gotta wear my Iron Man Rotary shirt, Pete, because this thing requires a superhero effort. Actually, not at all. It's actually a very easy car to drive. It's very well balanced. It's got a little bit of turn-in understeer, which makes it very safe, very easy to drive. You know, Gabe's a rookie. He's still learning about oversteer and stuff. So, but once the tires warmed up, I could slide it around a bit. You may have seen me sliding a bit in the last corner there.
Yep.
But it has no bad habits. The brakes are phenomenal. Holy cow, those stop deck brakes are incredible. And I've never felt the R888s work this well before. Something about this chassis with that tire size, with this aero package, and this car was really stuck in the corners. I did a 120 flat without really even pushing hard. This car's got a 118 in it if I really like dialed up the rotary here on my shirt. And there's some quirks with it though. There's some quirks. The shifter in the
your third
gear
gear sounded like it was taking longer to change than...
I miss third gear like 50% of the time because I'm smashing my hands off this dash panel that sticks out at an angle. So whoever designed that, I want to say bad things to you right now because this should just be flush. I mean, there's not a lot of room there to begin with. So that whole switch panel has got to go, which Gabe knows. He's going to fix it. Other than that, I was only seeing an indicated 8,500 RPM on the race pack. Is that calibrated for 10.5 at the motor?
We will go into the rev limiter, which is 10.5, but that has to be calibrated.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So because the dash only goes to 9K, I was seeing an indicated 85, but it was actually 10.5 at the motor. But at first that was really weirding me out because I'm like, why am I not getting more revs? There's something wrong here. The gearing here, by the way, is really long. I'm in second gear everywhere. I'm into third gear for like a couple of short runs at the end of the straightaways. Otherwise, it's all second gear, which is weird for a car without any torque. So this car needs a much, much higher final drive. I would even be tempted to put like shorter gear ratios in the transmission itself, because with a car that revs this high, you really need short revs to keep it up there in the top end of the power band. Like in second gear, coming out of some corners, I'm down at like 4.5, 5,000 RPM. On here, which is maybe higher than I think. But it still felt like it would really benefit tremendously from shorter gearing. So put that on your to-do list, Gabe. I know it's expensive, but you know, I'm worth it, buddy. Anyway, what a cool experience. I love the noises it makes. The car ripped a good, 4 or 5 laps there with no signs of any like bad behavior. So it seems like it's a rock solid lapping car now.
It's a great alternative to a turbo rotary that you could probably put 1 or 2 laps down on, right?
Man, there's so much power and like the revs are really addictive. I love just the sound of like blipping the throttle on downshifts. It's super fun. So I think Gabe's got a good thing going here. He just needs to dial in some of these small issues and this thing's ready for the big time. By the big time, I mean me trying it again. Speaking of which, anybody else gonna have a go here? Ken, Peter, Gabe? What's going on?
Ken's going. Nope. Gabe's in.
Yeah.
That's
Good
it.
time.